Ah, I guess now we're back. Sorry about that. I didn't notice the audio was off for the moment. Okay. So I forget where we were at before the quick break. I was getting the USB cable. And what we found out is that on my phone, I have about 50 episodes that are supposedly downloaded. And when we go to look in the file system on my phone, there's only 12 episodes in here. So for some reason, episodes are getting deleted. So we did a search for uses of file, and we found this thing in background operations called cleanup episodes. So it appears that that's intentionally happening from time to time. And you can call cleanup episodes with a particular state, and it'll delete episodes that are in that state. It's not quite clear what all these states mean. And it is possible, I don't know, in the other code we were just looking at, it didn't quite seem that this state was being used for anything, but we didn't look at that in detail. So let's see who calls cleanup episodes. Huh. Lots of places, interestingly. So there's a place that cleans up gone episodes. There's a place that cleans up leaving episodes. There's another for gone, another for gone, and another for gone. So I'm interested in what this leaving one means. There was a comment about it. State leaving for an episode means that it is marked for deletion and will be deleted in the background. So does that happen when you do something in the UI? Delete episode SnackBar. Okay, so I'm guessing this is when we do something like, here, let's try this out. Actually, yeah, let's set a breakpoint in here and in here. And let's download another episode. And once that is downloaded, then we'll try deleting it. Actually, we can try deleting it now. Let's just delete. Okay, and we get to the delete episode SnackBar, which refers to like the little pop-up message in an Android app. And let's continue. Oh, okay, interesting. So that's how they do the undo. They basically, if you ask to delete, they show the SnackBar, and if you click undo before the SnackBar goes away, then it cancels. And if you let the SnackBar dismiss, then it deletes when the SnackBar goes away. Okay, that's kind of clever. Dismiss action. Okay, so then it calls cleanup episodes in the background operation. And it wants to delete all the episodes that are not... no, it's going to delete all the episodes that are in state leaving. Okay. So this is going to asynchronously queue up this event to get handled later. So let's set our breakpoint in here now. And continue to there. And now it's logging. SnackBar dismissed event 3, okay. Then it's going to call cleanup episodes. Ooh, what is it doing? It's just calling this again. Okay. Oh, this is in another file? Okay, so let's continue. Then we get into here. Then we go into clean up episodes. Okay, and now we're in here, and the state filter is 1. So what are we doing? We get the content resolver to do a local database query. We're making a query string. Let's switch to the debugger and see our variables. Okay, so we're going to find episodes where episode state equals 1. If state filter is gone, which it's not, gone is 3 and leaving is 1. If it were gone, only process ones that aren't included in the feed anymore or have media associated with them. Okay, but that's not relevant now. So now we do a query against the episode join podcast table. So this sounds like it's the relationship between podcasts and episodes. We want the episode ID and the episode timestamp and the podcast timestamp and the download ID for all episodes that are in the leaving state, which means they're marked for deletion. Okay. So we get the download manager. Then we get the first file. So in this case, episode ID of this. And if the download ID is not 0, so that's if there's a download in progress. It'll do extra stuff to delete the ongoing download. Then it's going to delete the file. So here we get the file, and the file is this file. Great. And image manager, that's not relevant for us. Then what is this doing? Set the gone state or completely remove episode from database if it is already absent in the feed or the feed itself is deleted. Interesting. So it's trying to check if the episode is still part of a feed, then it keeps the episode but just removes the files. But if the episode is not in an existing feed anymore, then it also deletes the database record corresponding to the episode. Okay. So in our case, it should still be in the feed. So then, if it's completely removed, okay. So it should go to the else case, I think. Yep, it does. Okay. And then we're going to set the state to gone. We're setting the state to gone. That means the files are gone, maybe? We have new, leaving, in playlist. Oh, okay, gone means that the user has, watched it or is done with it somehow. Okay, so when a new episode appears, it's in state new. If it's marked for deletion temporarily, it'll be in state 1. If it's in your playlist, it's in state 2. And then if you've listened to it, or manually deleted it, then it's marked with state 3. Okay, that makes sense. And then we saw scattered throughout other places in the code where it'll trigger cleanups of all the gone episodes, which will delete the related files and then also remove the records from the database if those records are no longer relevant to any of the most recently updated podcast feeds. Okay, I think that's making sense to me. So here we're clearing out the marked for deletion episode that we just manually did. When we do that, we set the state to gone, we set the edfin, the download finished value to 0, and then we set the download ID also to be 0, and then we update it. Okay, cool, and then it's done. Got it. Okay. So we've seen how episodes are deleted when they're manually deleted. We've also seen the mechanism for when it tries to delete files, and we've also seen the fact that once a file is marked as not in the playlist anymore, there will occasionally be places in the code where it'll trigger cleanups, which will delete the files from the folder. So that should only be a problem if things are getting set to gone incorrectly. So let's just search for this gone state and see if there are other places where a file might get set to gone. I feel like that doesn't really make sense though, because the playlist view should only be showing things that are in the playlist. So why don't we go verify that first? Let's look in the playlist fragment. Yeah, exact. I just happened to have the cursor right at the right place. So here we're making a cursor loader, which is like a wrapper around the database that provides information for the UI. We're searching for all the episodes through this join table, and we're querying saying that the episode state must equal 2. Right, so if we've set the state to gone, then it won't show up on this screen, and thus I wouldn't see a problem with it. So it has to be related to episodes whose state is in the playlist. Okay, let's jump back to looking for other places where files are potentially deleted. So I was doing the search earlier for get podcaster. We saw the cleanup episodes function that we just looked through. That should only be getting called to clean up gone episodes, meaning they're not in the playlist anymore. Download receiver and handle download. Okay, let's just look at all of these one by one. So that's the one we just saw. Here, we're getting the file, and then we're moving the file from a temporary location to the download location. Okay, why is this happening? This is just part of the download process. So I'm going to assume that this is all fine. And we saw this also. Okay. Then download receiver. if the file was downloaded before, we remove it. So there's a deletion, but that only happens if you're starting a download of something that was previously downloaded. It just deletes the old version and downloads the new one. So I don't think that's related to the bug I've been seeing. What about this one? Download Manager produced a security exception. And in this case, they also delete. This seems like some kind of cleanup, where if the download manager, yeah, this is in the download function. Okay, so if the download fails in weird ways, they'll clean up the file. So that also seems unrelated to when I've seen this as a bug. Let's see, so here we get a source. Make sure it exists. Is this related to playing the file? Yeah, this is playing. Okay. So it looks like there's nothing related to deleting files in here. So that looks good. And then storage is the last place. We've got a cleanup. This gets all the files in the podcast directory. Images is the same thing. What's the difference here? This just loops through every file, apparently. And if it exists and is not a directory, or if its length is 0, it tries to delete it, and if that fails, it logs out. Okay. So who calls cleanup? Let's see, how do I pin this search window? Can I not do that anymore? Pinned mode. Okay. Well, I want to search for uses of cleanup real quick. And when is this called? This is called if there are exceptions. Huh. This is looping through folders, getting the storage. If the folders exist, tries to create the folders, successfully created, and then it cleans up. When does this happen? This seems kind of suspicious to me, because it seems like this is just a getter function, but it has the side effect of creating folders if they don't exist, but also it looks like it does cleanup. So if the image directory exists or podcast directory exists, then state equals medium mounted. Okay, otherwise, try to create it and then do the cleanup. Okay, so this should be safe, hopefully. And I guess this would probably be a bigger, more noticeable problem if this was getting triggered incorrectly. Okay, so I guess that seems fine. Then, how do I get back to the other search I was doing? Oh yeah, I wanted to see the other place cleanup gets called from preferences, which is clear storage, which I assume is called when someone explicitly asks for it to be cleared. Read preferences. What is going on here? Storage path. New storage. I see. So this is if you change the storage path, it's going to clean up. It's kind of confusing code to follow. All right. So then back to get podcast dir. We were down to some of the last usages of it. Cleanup we just were looking at. Create subdirs. And that just creates the folders. And then get rateable storage. Oh, we were also just looking at that. Okay. So this is all useful information. What we figured out is that definitely on my phone where I've seen this problem, the files for many of the podcasts are getting deleted for some reason. We didn't clearly find the code that would be deleting them in here. So that's interesting. But it seems like the next step would probably be for me to figure out, probably to look through the log files on my phone and see if there are any deletion or cleanup messages in there. And then possibly trying to add some logging into here to log when files get cleaned up and maybe see if certain files are getting cleaned up when they shouldn't be for some reason. So I think I want to think about that a little bit more and also figure out how I would want to log that information or save it or make it visible in the UI to debug this a bit more. But I think we've ruled out a bunch of possible problems from looking at the code today and understood quite a bit more about how the app works in general. So I'm pretty happy with that. I am going to wrap up for today, though. And thanks for tuning in and hanging out for some non-Elm stuff. Let's see. Yeah, next week I'll be back doing some more Elm. We'll probably have like a Halloween project to do from some old programming tutorials I used to do and convert that to Elm. So I will look forward to seeing you all then and chatting on Twitter. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope you found it useful, and I will see you all next time. Bye.